Hi everyone, Sean Morton here. I'm the hiker you never see pictures of, who is part of Come Walk With Us. I'm trekking with Sonia Richmond on a 4-year hike for birds across Canada on the Great Trail to promote diversity in the outdoors and engagement with nature through birds and citizen science.
With the ongoing matter of COVID-19 and social isolation, we are faced with one of two problems. Either we are busier than ever, dealing with new situations and the realities of being responsible, or we have lots of extra time on our hands and are looking for new things to fill our hours and days. Either way, life in isolation, whether you're in a big space or a small tent, can be a real challenge. So today we want to share 10 tips for dealing with social isolation and social distancing from our experiences while living in a tent on Canada's Great Trail in 2019.
People are often amazed that the two of us spent so much time in a space this size and isolated together. They wonder how two people fare after more than 160 days in a tent together. Well, the key to that, and the key to getting through social isolation with family, is good communication. In a small environment, if you can't talk, then everything else quickly falls apart. So now is the time to brush up on those communication skills and talk with one another. If you have interests, talk about them. If there's something bugging you, talk about that too. A good talk can help keep things civil, even during the toughest moments.
Our second piece of advice is to be tolerant. Just as important as good communication is being tolerant. There's so much that none of us can control at the moment. Small frustrations and annoyances can quickly get blown out of proportion and create huge rifts. Getting upset over something, whether big or small, can lead to a lot of problems, especially when you're together for a long time. Similarly, being able to just let go of things, which aren't a big deal or which we can't change, is essential to getting along. So being tolerant means that we have to listen to each other more and be willing to compromise as we go forward.
Third, find your own space. Even if you're lucky enough to be spending time with family and friends, eventually everyone needs a break. During the first year of our trek, we certainly needed time to ourselves, so we learned that one of the most essential things was to find time and space to spend with yourself. Whether this is taking time to read a book, or watch a movie on your own, or have the chance to go for a walk with yourself, having your own space is essential to keeping the peace during these periods.
Our fourth piece of advice is keep up with your contacts. This might seem contradictory to our last piece of advice, finding your own space, but self-isolation offers us all the opportunity to reconnect with old friends via Zoom or Skype, or to play board games. Fortunately, most of us have access to email, Facebook, Instagram, and of course our cell phones, so keeping in touch shouldn't be too hard.
Our fifth tip is to work on your bucket list and embrace new activities. What interests do you have, or what hobbies have you always been considering to take up? Wood carving, building model trains, learning the names of stars, or maybe even finally figuring out what all those warblers that come to your feeder are. What goals and projects have you set aside? Perhaps this is the opportunity to explore and develop those projects or even get them completed. Whether it's a book series you've been hoping to finish, a season of podcasts you've always wanted to listen to, or some gardening you're hoping to finish up, or even a future hiking trek that you've always wanted to plan out, this is the opportunity. Similarly, if you've ever been interested in trying something new, perhaps try citizen science. You certainly now have the chance.
Our sixth piece of advice for surviving quarantine is stick to your routine. If you're anything like us, you might find yourself waking up late every day or wondering what day it even is. TV reruns and time online have an odd way of undermining our sense of time. As a result, we can end up in a rut in which we begin to feel down and depressed. Well, key to keeping up morale is sticking to a routine. Ensure that you are sleeping regular hours, having meals at the right time, and setting aside the same time each day for specific activities. Keeping up the structure of your life goes a long way to making sure you still feel good. Take it all one day and one step at a time.
Our seventh hint is to stay busy and keep active. This is one of the most challenging ones. While we're advised to stay inside in order to stay healthy and happy, we also have to stay active, both physically and mentally. So even though we're staying inside, it doesn't mean that nature is closed or that we can't get into shape. Take this opportunity to start hiking local trails or walking to get your groceries rather than driving. Trust us, after being cooped up inside for days on end, getting out and about makes you feel great.
Our next tip is define your priorities and goals. Right now, we've been given more time to reflect, and we are more able to see what is essential and important. This, of course, is different for everyone, but it does give us the chance to redefine ourselves after COVID. Right now, we have the chance to see how we want ourselves to be and how we would like the world to be. That means that once the situation has passed, we have the opportunity to make things better. So now is the time to figure out how.
Our ninth tip is to be grateful and spread kindness. I know. Things can be frustrating while isolated. At the moment, holidays, celebrations, and dreams have been put on hold, but this is also an opportunity to embrace what the situation gives us. Time to ourselves, time to reflect, time with family and friends, and of course the chance to help others. One of the best things that we can do is to focus not on the frustrations that we're all experiencing, but the opportunities we now have. Now is the chance to help a neighbor or a family member with a project. It can be hard, but this is the perfect time to be grateful and thankful, even if it's just for the small things. After all, you have to be grateful. You're not in a tent like this for 160 days.
Finally, our best piece of advice is to stay connected with nature. While we might be isolated and have to keep up our social distancing, nature is not closed. In fact, experts are continually advising that we all leave our homes to go for a walk, a hike, a jog, or a bike. Our bodies need fresh air and sunlight, and we all need a break from our homes these days.
Thank you for taking the time to listen in. We hope that our advice helps. Remember, we're all in this together, and we'll get through it together too. See you on the trail someday.